The first act of Cardboard Piano, currently at the West End Players Guild, takes place in a small chapel in a building in a township in northern Uganda. A couple are preparing for a wedding. The second act takes place in the same chapel 15 years later. Two people appear in both acts. In the first, Chris, whose American parents are the missionaries who've established this church, is marrying Adiel, a young Ugandan woman who is a member of the congregation. They are the only ones at the wedding. Chris is even given sleeping pills to her parents in the apartment above the chapel so they will not discover them. Thanks to the strong Christian influence in northern Uganda, homophobia is rampant. But the ceremony is interrupted by a young soldier of the army revolting against the Ugandan government, lowering himself through a broken skylight over the chapel. Chris and Adiel comfort him and tend to his wounds. He's leaving the rebellious army and going home, but the young soldier's superior officer comes looking for him with fatal consequences. 15 years later, the missionaries have retired and gone back to America, and that young soldier is now the pastor in the church. I can't say much more without getting into a whole briar patch of spoilers. Homophobia plays a big role in sometimes surprising ways. So do love and support and the hands of the dead. Chris returns to Uganda because her father asks that his ashes be buried on the grounds of the church where a tree will grow. The reunion does not go well. Frankie Ferrari's Chris is strong, assertive, and moving. Jasmine Wade, as her bride Adiel, has a will of her own, tempered by her love for Chris. Wade also plays Ruth, the wife of Paul, the pastor, in Act 2 in 2014. Reginald Pierre explores a range of hope and guilt as the pastor. He's also, in the first act, the commander in the rebellious army who comes looking for his man. Darius Varner is that man, Pika, fleeing for his life. And in the second act, he is Francis, a member of Paul's congregation who, with Paul's help, is struggling to reconcile his faith with his homosexuality, with not much sympathy from Paul, but with a determination to lead him to repentance. The emotional reactions range far and wide in Cardboard Piano. The acting is fine. Linda Kennedy directed, so how could it not be? Renee Severe-Monzi created set and lights, Tracy Newcomb costumes, Chuck Lavazzi sound, with original music, trumpet-playing hymns by Adrian Bowers. Playwright Hansel Jung comes from South Korea. What led her to this play and its location and issues, I cannot say, but I'm glad something did.
And I'm glad the West End Players Guild took up this play.
Yeah, it was a challenge.